What is up, woke family? It's your boy Woke Bucks, and I'm back again with another live stream. So we're basically gonna redo this live stream. You feel what I'm saying? For those who watched it already, my apologies to you, but we're gonna get into it again. You feel what I'm saying? YouTube didn't save it. But what we're basically gonna be doing in this live stream today is we're basically gonna be breaking down why high earning women are not wife material. You feel what I'm saying? We're gonna watch the video to see the high earning women. You feel what I'm saying? The female divorce lawyer, aka attorney, is going to basically going to break down why high earning women are arrogant and why they're not wife material. You feel what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna break down my thoughts and give y'all my thoughts on why I think that they're not wife material. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, let's get into this video, woke family. You feel what I'm saying? You know what it is.
I posted my video about high income earning women and their marriages maybe like 15 minutes ago, and I've already gotten the most hilarious comments. I love the people that are watching my videos because y'all have the best sense of humor. But somebody commented about how women who earn a lot of money are arrogant, and there were several comments about that. And I think that this comment in particular is really interesting because I think that this is a problem for women, including myself. When you are a high income earning woman, two things. You are usually, my field is one, but it's changing, in a male dominated field. So you walk in and you're called sweetie and you're called honey and you're asked to go get coffee, even though you have the same education and experience as your male colleagues. And so I think there becomes this tendency of career women to have to prove that they're valued in the career, in the career setting. And so they have to basically, in a way, act like men. That's one. But the second most interesting phenomenon in careers with female women is that, like in law, for example, women who have kind of, blazed the trail, like I'm thinking the female lawyers that really started coming out in the 60s and 70s when there were like no other women lawyers, they are the hardest on us, on younger women. And I've noticed that I'm harder on younger female associates and attorneys than I am on younger male associates and attorneys. And I think it becomes this thing like, I need to put you through this hazing process that I went through. And I'm guilty of it too. So I think it's really interesting that this must cross fields because more than one person has commented about how women in high income earning positions are arrogant. So that's really interesting. I'd love if any career women have similar experiences. I'd love to know that it's not just the law.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to break this down. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to give you all my thoughts and my opinions, and then from there we're going to move forward. So there were a lot of important and interesting things that the woman broke down, right? The white female divorce attorney, the divorce lawyer. Let's break it down bit by bit. So one of the first things that she mentioned is that number one, that women that are higher earners, right? They are called sweetie, and they feel like they're being disrespected by men that are working in that same job field that they're working in, right? So they feel like they have to develop some type of aggression, some type of arrogance, some type of masculine traits and qualities in order to be accepted by those men, right? And I'm going to be honest with you, in those types of fields, if you have to do it, it's one thing, but there's a difference between doing it, all right, in those types of fields and then coming back home and acting like that towards your man, right? Because it gets to a situation that when you do not know when to turn off those masculine qualities at home, that's what leads to you being single, lonely, and frustrated. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if you're in combination, right, or if you're dealing with a man that's also making a lot of money, right, $100,000, $500,000, 75, whatever, right, $1 million. He does not want to deal with a woman that's going to be combative. He does not want to deal with a woman that's going to be very aggressive, very masculine, right? It's a turn off. It turns men off. Now, if you're in the job force and you're doing that, that's a completely different situation compared to you being at home with your children, right? Or with your husband or your boyfriend, right? Or somebody you're talking to, depending on the situation, right? The one thing you got to understand is that even in that situation where you feel like you need to turn it on, especially in the workplace, understand that there is a reason why it is a male dominated field, whether it's being a lawyer, being a doctor, or even being in the military, right? In the police force, situations like that. Because when danger approaches, right? When danger approaches, men understand that they have that burden of performance. They have to step up in order to make sure that not only their families are set, but the people around them are set, right? Whether they're people, their friends, or people that they live with in the same community. You know what I'm saying? Men have that burden of performance. We have to make sure that women are in a position of being in a safe place, and other people, right? Even other men are in a position of being in a safe place. That's not going to happen when we're in a situation where we have to consistently deal with women that are combative, women that are argumentative, women that are arrogant, right? Now, this is the one thing that women have to understand when it comes to making a lot of money, right? The reality of the situation is that your value as a woman is not determined off of how much money you make. Let me repeat that again. Your value as a woman is not determined by how much money you make. You can make 100K, 500K, a million, a billion. It does not matter as a woman. The money you make does not make you more valuable. Let me repeat that again. The money you make does not make you more valuable. Unfortunately, it's the truth. Why? Because the reality of the situation is that your value as a woman is predicated off of how many children you can give birth to and the relationships that you develop amongst your family and your friends, as well as people in your community or people in the world. Right? That is where your value is predicated off of, not off of how much money you make. The thing women have to understand is that you cannot allow social media to come in and try to dictate what your role is going to be. God gave men traditional roles, right? From back during Adam and Eve's time, even up to current day, men are still fulfilling their traditional roles. But when it comes to women, women feel like they shouldn't have to fulfill their traditional roles because it doesn't make them equal to men. There's a reason why God made men to be taller than women, generally speaking, stronger than women, generally speaking, more athletic than women, generally speaking, right? Smarter is up for debate, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't really matter. There's a reason why God generally made men to be greater than women, to be able to protect women, to be able to put women in a point of security. Now, you're going to have some women that are going to comment and they're going to ask, what if I'm dealing with a man that doesn't have my best intention at heart and will try to take advantage of me? That's exactly why I want to be strong and independent. You have to understand that at the end of the day, if you learn how to vet your man out properly, you're going to determine whether he's going to be a good husband to you in the future, a good father to your kids. And then from there, you make the decision on whether you want him to be in your life long term or not. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, you get to choose first. You got to make the right decisions. The decisions that you make today are going to affect the outcomes for tomorrow. I repeat that again. The decisions you make today are going to affect the outcomes for tomorrow. If you make a wrong decision on the man that you choose one time, it's okay. Especially if you don't go too far. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I mean by going too far. But if you keep making wrong decisions twice, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times, you have nobody but yourself to blame. That's what you like, and that's what you're going to tolerate, and that's how you're going to be treated, right? But before we get off topic, you feel what I'm saying? Let's get back to the situation regarding the women that are high earners, right? So let's relate that situation regarding the military about women. Like people don't understand, right? Like if we were to bring the military situation into the effect, right? We're going to start off with military and then we'll move to doctors. In the military, the standard in which women get into the military, right? They're admitted, is not the same standard in which men are admitted into the military. The men have to go through a lot more physical activity, physical tests to make sure that they're going to be admitted, whereas a woman doesn't have to go through those exact same procedures that the man went through. So how is that equality? Because let's really talk about it. You feel what I'm saying? If war were to break out today and the enemy from whatever country in the world, right, whichever country in the world, if they were to start throwing grenades and bombs at us, right, let's just say, for instance, I'm in the military too. You know what I'm saying? It's hypothetical. People like myself realize, other masculine men realize we have to be able to answer to the call of duty when time calls. When duty calls, duty calls. Now, am I saying that women can't do it? I'm not saying that they can't. They possibly can. But if they had the option to have the man go out instead of themselves, they would do it. You have to realize that majority of the people that are in the military, they're in the military for the benefits more than they're in to be able to help people and save lives. Now, am I saying that there aren't people that are out there that want to save lives? There are. You feel what I'm saying? But On this channel, we speak the truth and we stand by the truth. The majority of the situation is that majority of people do not go into the military to save lives. So if you do have that masculine man that tries to go into the military to be able to save lives, he realizes that at any point in time he could lose his life, but he's ready to do it to make sure that other people could be able to live freely and safely from any type of common threat. You feel what I'm saying? Women, not saying that they can't do it, but they prefer to have a man do it. Therefore, your goal, in my opinion, should not be to go into a male-dominated field where you know that there's a less chance of you being successful. Instead, go into your own field. Find what fits for you. Find what works for you, where you know that you can be able to be in control and dominate that. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if we were to relate the military situation to the doctor situation, it's very similar, right? Obviously, women go to medical school too. Women get degrees. Wonderful. You're a doctor. Wonderful. You feel what I'm saying? Perfect. In life or death situations, when it comes to dealing with patients that are about to die, that are about to pass away, right? The reality of the situation is that a lot of female doctors, a lot of women doctors would prefer for the male doctor to be able to perform the operation to save the patient's life. Why? Y'all wonder why, right? The reason is because God forbid anything happens to that patient and that patient passes away in your care, especially as a man, you realize that you have to be able to answer to the call. You know that the blame is going to be put on you because you didn't save his life. Women would prefer that because, let's be honest, especially when it comes to taking accountability for certain actions, women don't like to hold themselves accountable. So you think they're going to hold themselves accountable when they get into the higher medical fields of being a doctor, of being a nurse, of being a lawyer, engineer? You know what I'm saying? They would prefer for a man to do it because they know that that's a man's role. Now, I'm not saying that a woman will not do it, but if she had an option, she would prefer to have a man take that. Because we as men, we as masculine especially, right? We understand that we have that burden of performance. We have to perform when duty calls. If we do not perform, then we're literally useless to society, right? Because we have people that are depending on us, right? We have uncles, aunts, mom, dad, so many different people from so many different aspects of the world depending on us for us to be able to come through, for us to be able to perform, for us to be able to do the things that it takes in order to be able to be successful, to take care of people. We have that burden of performance. We have to level up. We have to perform. If we do not perform, then we literally lose value, right? And it's not only in the workplace. It's not only in the workplace, right? It comes to giving to people. It comes to being able to inspire people to provide value to the marketplace. Mind me, the marketplace isn't just work. The marketplace is the entire world. We as men have that burden of performance. Women, you do not have that burden of performance. Or even if you do in minority situations, overall, you understand that you're expected to do less. So if you do more, it's definitely a thing to celebrate about. But the reality of the situation is that a lot of women who earn those high degrees are very arrogant, right? Unfortunately, y'all are not wife material. Not because you're high earners, but because of the arrogance, because of the pridefulness, right? Because of the prideness. I don't think prideness is the word, pridefulness. Because of the cockiness, because of the behavior. You have to understand that, like I said, when you're dealing with a man that's making that same amount of money or more, because women that are making that amount of money, they're not going to deal with men that are making less than that. No man wants to tolerate that. No man wants to deal with that. You feel what I'm saying? So this is my advice for women that are high earners or about to become high earners. The reality of the situation is that when you're making a lot of money or you're working in a male-dominated field, your best bet is to whatever type of personality you use in the workplace, right? That dominant personality, that masculine personality, keep it in the workforce. But when you come home, turn it off. When you come home, do not act like that. You need to embrace your feminine when you come home, because I'm telling you, what a lot of women do is that when they go to work, they have to be super masculine because of the jobs that they work, whether it's you being a lawyer, engineer, doctor, nurse, military, and then you come back and then you're overbearing to your husband, you're overbearing to your children. It's not helping. It's only destroying relationships. It's only making people to hate you even more. That's exactly what causes people to develop enmity. I'm telling you before. I'm telling you seriously, right? If you're on the way to becoming a high earning woman, or you're a high earning woman already, you got to be humble. You got to move in humility. You got to embrace your feminine. Those are the qualities that are going to be able to have your marriage last long, that are going to have you to be in a position of success long term with your partner, because no man wants to deal with a woman that's very arrogant because she's making a lot of money, right? Now we're put into a man's position. Most men, if they're high earners, or even if they're earners in general, most men generally do not brag about how much money they make, because we understand that at the end of the day, even if we make $100,000 a year, even if we make a million, we have to be able to share those resources among the whole world. Whether it's giving back to people that are unfortunate, whether it's giving to uncles, aunts, cousins, whether it's giving to family members, right? Mom, dad, brother, sister, right? As we make money, we have to share our resources. Women try to call themselves strong and independent boss babes, doctor, lawyer, engineer. Some women even do OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? Making millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you spend that money on yourself, right? But then when you're in a relationship, you still call yourself strong and independent. Understand one thing: you cannot be strong and independent in a relationship. Let me repeat that again. You cannot be strong and independent in a relationship. What do I mean by that, right? What I'm trying to say is that if you want to be strong and independent and do what you're doing when you're single, cool. But understand that there are certain things that you need to give up when you're in a relationship. There are certain things that you need to give up while you're in a relationship. It's going to be very, very hard for you to be able to find a man that's going to take you seriously if you carry the mantra strong and independent boss babe. Now, let's be honest. Some men might tell you what you want to hear in order to be able to smash. But understand that intercourse and being wifed up are two different things. When you possess masculine traits and you enforce that in your ideologies and your beliefs, and that's how people see you, it's going to be very, very hard for you to find a man that's actually going to take you seriously. Especially if you're a woman that has kids. It's not talked about a lot, right? Because let's be honest, a lot of women with these characteristic traits, a lot of people with these characteristic traits do not possess qualities of women that are good wives, right? They're not wife material. Then from there, you realize that a lot of these women that are career women, right? They ended up wasting their 20s, partying, drinking, smoking, having intercourse with random men, right? And the thing you have to realize is that when you just completely don't take care of your body, you're putting yourself in a position to be able to inhabit a lot of demonic energy, right? A lot of demonic sexual energy, a lot of diseases, STIs, STDs. There are a lot of things that you're literally putting into your body and you don't even realize it. You're literally stopping yourself from pair bonding with somebody that you want to take serious in the future. That person is never going to take you serious, right? You have to understand that you have to try to become the best wife possible while you're young. So if you're between the ages of 18 to 25, 26, your goal is to try as much as possible to make yourself into the best wife. And I know a lot of women are going to try to ask me, well, Wokey Bucks, what about for the women that are trying to have something, God forbid, their husband or their boyfriend or the man they're talking to, if everything goes well, passes on? And I agree with you 100%. But this is what y'all women have to understand. If you're working towards becoming the best version of yourself and you vet your partner out properly, and what do I mean by properly? I'm talking about asking questions and paying attention to signs. They're literally going to show you what you want. They're going to show you what you're looking for. When they show you what you want and when they show you what you're looking for, you're going to put yourself in a position of success to determine if that person is going to be a loyal partner to you in the future or if they're not going to be a loyal partner to you in the future. And if they're not a loyal partner to you in the future, then you would have known by personally vetting them out, right? So your goal at the end of the day is to learn how to personally vet somebody out. And if you realize that you've vetted that person out properly, that person can put you onto a business, right? That person puts you onto a business, then from there, you're going to be able to take care of yourself, whether it's lashes, whether it's nails, whether it's hair, whether it's food, whether it's massages, right? And so on and so forth. Even a pair of like clothes, hats, whatever you want to do, your man is going to put you on. You feel what I'm saying? But if you're not focused on trying to make sure that you can get the best man that you can get while you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, you know what I'm saying? Late 20s, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. Your goal is not to become a strong and independent boss babe. Your goal is to become the best wife that you can become, to embrace your feminine. There are traditional roles that God gave men, God gave women. Women, you got to start to try to adhere to those traditional roles in order to be able to make yourself into the best version of yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Men have stayed the same since the beginning of time. We understand that we have to go out and make sure that we get the money to be able to take care of our families. Women, you got to adhere to those. Now, men that aren't doing those, men that aren't doing their traditional role, you got to find some type of motivation. You got to figure out what your purpose is. Stick on your purpose and try as much as possible to level up, because you are going to understand long term, If you find your purpose and you stick to your purpose, everything that you do is literally going to show itself, right? You're going to become more successful. You're going to have people that are going to appreciate you more. You're also going to have people that are not going to appreciate you more, but we're not worried about those people. You feel what I'm saying? The ones that do appreciate you, you stick by them. The ones that don't appreciate you, let them go. And every other thing is going to work out. But we as men, we already know at the end of the day, we have that burden of performance. And if you don't know if you're a man, you got to know now. So focus on what you can do to be able to level up, improve yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Lawyers, it's the same thing. If you're in a criminal case or any type of case involving confrontation with the plaintiff and the defendant, most women don't want to put themselves in a position to be able to go out and defend either one because they realize that there's a potential that confrontation could potentially happen. But men, we realize that we have to step up. We have to be able to be that person that is either going to be liked or not liked. But who cares? Because men are built for this, right? Not that women aren't built for it, but majority of women generally tend to fold under pressure. So this is a message for high earning women. Woke family, we're here. We understand it. You feel what I'm saying? High earning women, try as much as possible to humble yourselves, right? When you come into into your personal lives with your husbands, boyfriends, any type of relationship, even children. You can be like that at work if you want to, and even at that, still try to embrace your feminine a little bit more. Don't be completely masculine. You know what I'm saying? But when you're at home, your goal long term is to embrace your feminine and to do your traditional role that God has given you. If you understand, it's because you're woke. If you don't understand, you're not woke. This is going to be in this live stream. If you like this live stream, make sure you go spam that like button, leave comments, share this live stream with your friends, subscribe to the channel at Woke Ebucks, WOKEEBUKS. Tap the notification button to get all the latest videos that I post. Patreon link will be down in the description below, right? And so will social media links. So make sure you go give those a check. But without further ado, this is going to be in this live stream. This is Woke Ebucks, and I'm out, man. Perfect.